Welcome back, everybody. It's great to see you. Today's Bible story is one of my favorite stories in the Jesus storybook. I love it because it is so well written, and I really like the illustrations as well. So today's story is all about Jesus, just like every story in the Bible. The past 5 days we've been going over sort of the start of Jesus' life, of the Christmas stories, and then we had Jesus getting baptized, and Jesus tempted in the desert, and then he gathered all his disciples, and then that sort of all leads toward today's Bible story, which is titled The Captain of the Storm. The sun was going down, the air was warm and still. "Let's go across the lake," Jesus said to his friends. Jesus had been helping people all day, and now he was tired. So they left the crowds at the shore and set out in a small fishing boat. Jesus climbed into the boat to take a nap. As soon as his head touched the pillow, he fell asleep. It was a beautiful evening. A gentle breeze rustled the sails. The friends were chatting happily as they headed out into the middle of the lake. Everything was perfect, just right for a nice, quiet sail. They were only about halfway across when, out of nowhere, whirling winds swept across the lake, fierce, strong like a hurricane. A blinding flash of lightning lit up the sky. Thunder roared right overhead. The storm blew the water into towering waves that hurled the little boat up, 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 and then sent it hurling, crashing down, down, down. The fishing boat was blown and buffeted and tossed and turned, back and forth, up and down, left and right, and around and around. And in the middle of the storm, Jesus was sleeping. Now, Jesus' friends had been fishermen all their lives, but in all their years of fishing on this lake, they had never once seen a storm like this one. No matter how hard they struggled with their ropes and sails, they couldn't control their boat. The storm was too big for them. But the storm wasn't too big for Jesus. "Help!" they screamed. "Wake up! Quick, Jesus!" Jesus opened his eyes. "Rescue us! Save us!" they shrieked. "Don't you care?" Of course Jesus cared. And this was the very reason he had come, to rescue them and to save them. Jesus stood up and spoke to the storm. "Hush," he said. That's all. And the strangest thing happened. The wind and the waves recognized Jesus' voice. They had heard it before, of course. It was the same voice that made them in the very beginning. They listened to Jesus and they did what he said. Even all of nature, the wind and the waves, trust Jesus and obey Jesus. Immediately, the wind stopped, the water calmed down. It glittered innocently in the moonlight and lapped quietly against the side of the boat, as if nothing had happened. The little boat bobbed gently up and down. There was a deep stillness and a great quiet all around. Then Jesus turned to his wind-torn friends. "Why were you scared?" he asked. "Did you forget who I am? Did you believe your fears instead of me?" Jesus' friends were quiet as the wind and the waves. And into their hearts came a different kind of storm. "What kind of man is this?" they asked themselves anxiously. "Even the wind and the waves obey him." They said because they did not understand. They didn't realize yet that Jesus was God himself. Jesus' friends had been so afraid they had only seen the big waves. They had forgotten that if Jesus was with them, then they had nothing to be afraid of, no matter how small their boat or no matter how big the storm. Beautiful story. Beautifully written, beautifully illustrated. Even the wind and the waves obey Jesus Christ. Why? Did you catch that? Because Jesus is God. And the Bible tells us that God himself was the one who created this whole world and all the universe. And when he did it, he used his voice. He said, "Let there be light, let there be the world, be plants and animals, and the wind and the seas." And so all those years later, Jesus Christ is God. He's out there on the lake, and he speaks to the wind and the waves, and they recognize his voice because it's the same voice that created them in the very beginning. That is why we love Jesus. That is why we worship him. That is why we live for him, because he is God. He created this entire world, all of the universe, all of creation. And he calms the storm raging around us, and he calms the storm raging inside us. See you guys tomorrow.